What is it about death that is so bitter? The uncertainty, leaving all that we know. But here let us pause and think and thank God. For in this pain of separation, in this thought of death, we have a powerful antidote to all the ills in our society, the ills of our own individual souls, from whence those ills of society spring, from individual souls. For we know from Ecclesiasticus, think of thy last end and thou shalt never sin. But if this is to ring true for us and to help us to live a holy life, we must guard against the idea that all go to heaven despite whatever life they may live. For then we have no concern for how we live our lives. Let us look to Ramona. What does her life teach us? How can she help us now that she's gone? She has left us, but not without hope. We see in her life a great hope for her and for ourselves. What is it like if the light in a lighthouse goes out? Ships are in grave danger. Ramona's life was a great light for us all to see, if we will open our eyes. But her life, we see, yes, is really, by her life, we see it does matter how we live. In her we see, blessed are the dead who die in the Lord, for their works follow them, as St. John tells us. What we do here matters very much. And in fact, by the lives we live, we determine our own eternal destiny. How did Ramona live? Someone who knew her well said she and her friend Mary Warner were known as the nuns because they said their prayers every day, and they were very devout. And this is a good thing. She teaches us how important prayer is. St. Alphonsus of Glory tells us, who is a doctor of the church, prayer, those who pray will surely save their souls. Those who do not pray will surely lose their souls. Prayer is an art, a science, the science of the saints. It helps us to see what is really important and gives the soul the strength to live for God and eternity, not for this world, not for others, but for God. If we can do this, we too, with St. Francis of Assisi, can quote St. Paul, "O death, where is thy sting?" Ramona loved the Mass. She was on her way here to spend some time with her dear friends, Dan and Tracy Lewis, to be closer to the Mass when God called her. And what's so important about the Mass? Imagine, if you will, only one water source in the whole entire world. How people would not guard and appreciate that as a precious source, a life-giving source. So we know the sacrifice of Calvary is the only source of grace in the spiritual world for time and eternity. And the Mass, of course, is a renewal of this sacrifice of Calvary. We know from the spiritual writers and scriptural commentators, when the Mass ceases, the world will end. That is how powerful the Mass is. And when we look around and see the evil world, we think, how can God bear this? And that's the power of the true sacrifice, the holy sacrifice of the Mass, still being offered. It's also very important to remember Ramona made her total consecration many years ago. And to follow her great example and be a true devotee of our Blessed Mother. For as St. Louis de Montfort tells us, never has it been known that a true devotee of our Blessed Mother was lost. So we want to know, understand, pray to live that consecration. Make the 33-day preparation. Make ourselves a slave of Jesus through Mary, without reserve, without holding back. So we see, by following the shining example of Ramona and her life, seeking truth, living a God-centered life, we can, in a certain sense, bring true hope with death by the life that we live. Jesus, meek and humble of heart,